And then, okay, so from boat parties in PP to now, you were just telling me at Baba the other month, dream job doing remote closing. So I was like, bro, tell me more about it, because as I told you, now I'm getting lots of messages and interest about the life of remote closer. So I wanted you to share your experience. So yeah, how did you get connected with Max, and like what's it like, and tell everyone yeah, your experience just doing it from being based here and the hours and all
Bro,
that.
it was real lucky. I mean, it was in COVID, and you think you guys were here COVID, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, Phuket's small anyway, but during the COVID and the pandemic, when we lost all the tourists, and there was just like that prolonged period,
Yeah.
everyone who lived there kind of got to know each other.
Yeah.
And we had a mutual friend who's got an agency as well, actually, an influencer agency in Bangkok. It was his birthday, and we went to a birthday party. Hung out, and the last two people awake were me and Max.
Yeah.
So we were just shooting the shit, and we just hit it off. I didn't know much about his agency or anything. But yeah, we just hit it off, hung out. Yeah, and we had a few good nights together. And anyway, I was kind of in between work because I had a bar and a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I did like a booze cruise at PP Island, so I was like heavily reliant on the tourism.
Yeah.
And then when COVID came, that all got fucked.
Yeah.
So I was deciding whether to wait for the island to bounce back and jump back into that. But I was kind of just a bit lost, didn't really know what to do. And yeah, Max just hit me up and said, listen, my agency is growing, it's expanding. I'm looking for someone to come on board that's good with people, that has been in the sales environment before, that can handle calls, and I think you could be perfect for it, so I want to give you a shot. He gave me a shot, and then yeah, the rest is history.
Heck yeah. And then so I was asking you at last Baba, like, how many calls are you taking a day? Is it only 4 days a week? What is the structure? Like, what are the details? And like, yeah, what does it look like?
I don't know how fortunate I am, but I've been told I can basically design my own calendar. So I mean, if I want to work Monday and Tuesday and then have the other 5 days off, I can do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just greedy, bro. And like for me,
Yeah,
my
you wanna
evenings,
hustle.
exactly.
Yeah.
And my evenings are like, what the fuck else am I gonna do? Put my feet up, watch trash on
exactly,
Netflix,
yeah.
smoke
Yeah,
a bunch of
Monday
weed
through
and do
Thursday,
nothing.
There's nothing else to do, but yeah.
And fortunately, the people that are coming in that I'm speaking to are all over in the US.
Yeah.
So like, if you understand the time zones, I'm living in Phuket. I'm speaking to people in the US. I get to wake up, have a whole day to do whatever. I can do my yacht charter agency in the day. And then when I come home, the sun goes down. Then yeah, what else? So
Yeah.
I keep my calendar open Monday to Friday.
Yeah, pretty much like 9 p.m. to like.
I do eight because a few early risers like to get up and get out.
Yeah.
So my calendar's open from 8. I try and cut it off at midnight because like I need my sleep.
Yeah.
But I mean, if someone's keen and they can't work around my calendar, bro, I'll stay up for whenever. I don't care.
Okay.
I'll work on it. I've got a guy who's hopefully going to be messaging me soon. But I've taken calls Saturdays, Sundays. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whatever.
that's pretty much the exact same as me, taking inbound leads for my own agency. And so, yeah, if it's U.S. hours, guys, and you're in Asia, that's what it's going to look like, that type of schedule. But many situations, if you want to block out your calendar and take that day off, like, it's totally up to you. And so, in terms of the commissions, like, what are the packages? Are you doing like 10K packages with like 10% commission or 20% commission? Because obviously that would make it totally worth it. If you're making $500,000 potentially per call to stay up till whatever, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, my commission structure, there's different tiers.
Okay.
So it's digital marketing services, whether it's like an initial proven PPC campaign, which is just kind of get your feet wet, get your foot in your door.
Depends the offer, yeah.
Exactly. So the ignition package is like the initial, kind of the lowest entrance.
Ignition, I like that name.
Ignition, yeah. We've gone gearhead, so ignition, turbo, and full throttle.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, dealing with Americans, branded around either fucking machines, combustion engines or
Yeah.
weapons.
There you go.
Do guns or cars. But yeah, the ignition package is just a flat 20% commission.
Nice, not bad.
And then turbo, the same 20%, but then the big upsell here is the full throttle, which is like a full turnkey solution. This is like how to recession-proof your business from everything.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not just like bring us some leads that we're struggling to get, find those needle in a haystack leads. It's basically just, I trust you guys, you've proven your worth.
Yeah.
Let us give you all the money and you just make my business.
Handle my digital world. Yeah.
Handle my digital world.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the structure that the company I'm working for has got, and I think it's ideal. People need to kind of see things. I mean, referrals are great, but I mean, they want to kind of see that you do what you say you can do. So it's nice to kind of have those tiered structures.
Yeah, before jumping into everything.
But on the big package, I mean, then it's a reciprocal.
Residual commission?
Residual commission. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's the big.
Okay.
ticket.
And so, but normally it's just 20% on the first month?
Exactly. Yeah. Just
Okay.
a flat 20%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could be making, a fucking $1,000 a call.
Yeah.
Depends on what the package is. And so, so these are all warm leads coming right in. They inquire on the website.
Yeah. It's exactly that. So I mean, a lot of people when they ask me, it's for a salesperson and you're good at sales. It's the dream.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go out prospecting. You don't have to cold call.
Yeah.
The amount of like rude people you deal with is very limited. It's surprising though. I don't know if you see this. Even though people have kind of warmed themselves up, done their research, gone out of their way to book a call with you, you'll still get people that are a little bit cold sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people, they've gone through a bit of education. They're well aware of what the company is, what the company offers. Basically, when they get on the phone to me, it's just, can I really afford it?
Yeah.
And are they full of shit?
Yeah.
Basically. And it's
Yeah.
just my job to make them feel extremely comfortable, really find out why they reached out and made that call in the first place. And it's not all about me just trying to hustle and sell them. It's actually for these agencies that aren't just monster agencies, just trying to onboard as many clients as possible.
Yeah.
For the agency I work for, it's like their customer relation is so important. It's all about retention of clients.
Yeah,
As I said,
building-
we're trying to go through tier 1 to tier 3.
Yeah.
So it's a long relationship. So I mean, I have to kind of vet the people I'm speaking to too. Like, do we really want to work with these people?
Are you difficult to work with? Are you high maintenance? Are you just an asshole? Are you?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to be? Are you worth your monthly retainer for all the headache that's going to come with you? We've had it like this last couple of weeks. We've just been turning people away.
Yeah.
Just because that you can judge people surprisingly fast.
You get a bad vibe, and you're like, you know what? You're just like, you're difficult, bro. Like, I'm gonna pass on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
You think your business is like the fucking shit, and like it's not. Those type of people you don't want to. They're difficult.
And that's another thing. Like if you're an agency owner, you need to hire people that are really passionate about the company. Because like I respect my company and the owner so much that like I can close people, hand it off, and like you deal with his bullshit.
Yeah.
But you really want people that are kind of seeing the long-term goal.
Yeah.
And I'll pull out of sales and say I could close him right now, but I don't want to bring him in and give headache for everyone else and stuff like that. So you need people that aren't just too money hungry. They want to.
That's a delicate balance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For the reasons you just said. And yeah, I've always said, because like in this, high ticket remote closing space, typically it's not B2B, it's not marketing agency. It's usually an individual, and you want to collect that sale, that first payment on the call now, like, because that's usually how they get the commission for these like big courses and companies, like onboarding everyone onto their course or whatever it is. And then for marketing agencies like yourself and myself, it may be a little bit longer of a sales cycle. Maybe there's a second call sometimes, because with marketing agencies, there's so many moving pieces. Like with ads, it's like, how many products you got? It's like, and so is that typical with you? Like maybe there's a bunch of email follow-up, or do you have any tips with like if it's a two call setup, like what I do it's normally we frame it as, yeah, this is a 2-call setup. And so I go at the end of the call. What we do is schedule the same time next week. We meet again. We can answer any questions and concerns. And at that point, it can be either a no thanks or a fuck yeah. If it's a fuck yeah, we can take the first step. So it's basically a tentative onboarding is scheduled.
Okay.
So
Is yours typically a 1-call or a 2-call or?
I mean, it depends. I mean, you can't really pre-vet them on the way through, but if you don't get the decision maker on the call, it's virtually impossible to close because they have to go through those red tape and get it approved. So I'll try my best to qualify the person I'm speaking to straight away and find out what their role is.
Yeah.
And if I know they're going to have to report everything back, I'll keep it short and sweet, qualify them and say, basically, who is the person that's going to make the decision? When is the next available time we can get both you on the call? Because I hate doing like a full demonstration and showing everything, and they go, sweet, I'm going to have to speak to my boss, and then we have to redo it all again.
And then you have to say everything in the email again. Like, by the way, could you take everything you just said and just like write it up in an email so I can just forward that to my boss and then get him on a call next and then do the whole thing over again?
and not just that, like the information you give over, I mean, for someone who doesn't understand, you don't know how that's been relayed to the decision maker. So you really want to get those decision makers on the phone as quick as possible. But I mean, if you get the decision maker, they're coming in warm, they're looking for an agency to take over the services that you require. I mean, I've 1-call closes happen quite a lot. So I'll always push for that. Like, it's weird. I mean, now in remote closing, I fucking hate weekends. I hate them. Because they'll say, because weekends is just a long time. Like now,
they have a
long time to think. I mean, that energy level from that call, when they're super pumped and excited, they have a whole Friday, Saturday, Sunday for that kind of to sit down, rethink everything.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to push my second call to the Friday or the Thursday.
Yeah. Ideally, like next day or 2 days later.
Exactly. I'll often say, like, listen, how long do you think it's going to take you? I have availability Thursday morning, Friday morning, and whenever they say Monday, Tuesday, I'm always like, great, see you then. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's a few days for them to sit and think a bit longer.
Exactly. So. I always think about this. You got to strike while the iron's hot.
100%.
In everything, in dating, in business, all aspects of life. As the sunset, boom, comes through. Boom. Okay, so and then I wanted to get into a little bit, some closing tips. What have you learned for 1-call closing tips? Like whether that's one-liners, like you just said, that one-liner with trying to get the next call next day or the day after. Like, okay, I have availability, blah, 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 just like spit out a time, which that's a great, instead of asking them what's the best time for you, I say, okay, how about we do Thursday? Like, I always just tell them when's the next call. If they reject, then they reject. What are some tips for, I don't know, some guys that are learning this game that you can share in terms of that stuff?
Well, I think mainly you got to know your product. I mean, when I first started, we had a little guarantee, so that guarantee was a good thing. But if you're just talking across the board, it's just maintaining like control of that call, because 99% of the times they don't want to close on the call, and they'll always say, let me have a think. So if they have a think, if you're new to the game, you don't want to seem too pushy, so you'll often just say, okay, take your time, don't worry. But you really want to keep asking the questions and find out why there is an objection. So if they say, I need a bit of time, just say, okay, why do you think that is? Do you think our services aren't going to be able to provide you with the leads, or do you think we're not going to be able to drive traffic to your website from what I've shown you? And I often try and say, so listen, from everything I've told you today, what do you think would be the best for you? And the more you can kind of get them to remember what you've told them and find the value in what you've said, I think it just sets in stone a bit more. Once you have a client saying, well, the bit that you told me about this and that, I really think that's going to help. And I say, okay, and so about the price, do you think you'll be able to afford that if we can provide what we say? And then as soon as you start getting them answering and repeating kind of what you've said, it becomes a lot easier. So it's like kind of answer objections with just more questions.
Yeah, exactly. And you get them ideally to sell themselves. Like you just ask some questions that said, get them to, yes, this is going to help, but just ask more questions and figure out, all right, yeah, what is your main concern? And it's a lot of times it's the price or the trust in the system.
Yeah, and if you can clear those up, so it's so just so before we book a call, book our next call. What do you really think? Do you think this will work in your territory? Do you think this is going to work? And if they say yes, and then you've already ticked that off, and then you say, okay, so the price. So what's this price? What are the consequences? I mean, of you spending this a month? Okay, and then what are the consequences if you don't find an agency that can help you? I mean, if you currently stay at where you're at, what are the consequences? And kind of weigh up those two options. I mean, you can save our retainer, but if you carry on the way you're going, I mean, you already went from leading the pack to the middle of the pack, and you're fast falling behind. There's a reason why they've called out. So it's just reminding them that they are in need of what you've got.
Yep. And there is some urgency to it.
Exactly. And just making them really aware that it's an investment, not an expense.
Yeah.
Because it's not just something you buy. It's, you're investing in a service, which, as long as you believe in it and your product's good, it's just making them very aware that it's an investment.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's a great investment in ROI. And I heard this line somewhere. Some guy was like, he asked this question. So everything I told you about, like at this point on a scale of 1 to 5, like where would you be at in terms of confidence in our system that will work for you? And it's like, and he goes, so if they say if it's like a 3 or a 4, then you can ask the follow-up question. Okay, like what about this would make it a 5 or something like that. If they say a 5 in the system, they know it's not that. The objection is somewhere else. So
that's from the Ultimate Sales Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that book too.
Oh, does that come from that?
Well, I heard that from that.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave a few objections from I've forgotten the author.
I don't know. Oh, Ultimate Sales Machine. Starts with the S, the Australian guy? No, that's Sell Like Crazy.
Sell Like Crazy. No, Ultimate Sales Machine, yeah, it's an awesome book. I got it on Audible. But yeah, he had exactly that. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. If it's below this or that, you have, certain things to answer.
It's just like scoring where their objection and confidence is. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's not for everyone. Some people are too thin-skinned, and they objections happen constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'll even have people tell me to go fuck myself sometimes. Out of no reason. Happened the other day.
Yeah.
I started as I normally do, saying, just like to set the call and just say, hey, so, just so you know how these calls normally go.
Yeah.
I just really want to find out more about yourself and your agency. If you could try and catch me up to speed, and then any more questions I have and any more questions you have, and just something like that. It was, a big no-no for him. It was like, listen, I'm going to be paying you, so you sell yourself, and I'm giving you no info on me.
Oh, yeah, just being a dick.
Yeah, but these are the red flags that you need to look out for.
Yep.
But I mean, like, the best advice for anyone is to just get on the phone and just take shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to say. Like, if you have not done this before on the phone, start as a cold caller.
Yeah.
Or even kind of like an outbound warm caller, where you will pick up the phone
and call their like past customers or warm lead list that they haven't booked a call yet, or fucking straight up cold call a cold list. It's a great way to learn and just take shit and then move your way up.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's a big adjustment online. Like, I've never ever done Zooms or online sales before. Everything was face to face.
Yeah.
And I think face to face is sometimes even harder.
Well, yeah, a lot harder fucking logistically. I mean, I did door-to-door sales in college.
Nice.
So I did 4 years of door-to-door.
And so, like, I'm always saying, like, bros, I did door-to-door sales out there with my little clipboard in my shitty little fucking my grandma's Ford Taurus, all right, getting out there with my polo shirt, all right, with my fucking pen, knocking on doors, and fucking Parker came with me job shadowing one day, and the fucking grandma comes out with a fucking pistol, and she's like, get out of my fucking property, and then the grandpa had to come and like, oh, honey, you calm down. It's like, that's the type of shit that I was hustling back in the day, if I had only known about you can just be inside of a Starbucks or at home and be doing this all on Zoom and getting your $300, $400, $500, $600 commissions. And so it's like it's much relatively easier now to be a salesperson in this digital world. That said, you know, one summer or two of door-to-door sales will improve your communication skills, and you can bring that with you your whole life. So, but you could just do cold calling, and it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
So that's it. Oh, look at that. That's goals, boys. Goals. One day we're gonna be having our yacht party, and if you watch this video this far to the end, I hope you would have liked it.
When you come into Thailand, you got to rent it from me.
Yeah. What's your so is this still going on, your yacht parties? Or your
Well,
boat
we
parties?
do parties, but I opened a yacht charter agency here, legit, Phuket Yacht Hire. So we've got everything from small catamarans to $40,000 super yachts.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So this is one of ours.
You think that's like a 60, 70, 80 foot?
Foot? No,
Or-
it's much bigger.
A much oh, wow. Well, it's like, what do you measure it in yards?
I'd say that's maybe, over 100 feet, maybe.
Holy majoli. Look at that. And so, all right, what's your website? Shout out.
Shout out, Phuket Yacht Hire.
Phuket Yacht Hire.
Yeah, I'll tag the IG.
Yeah, tag it. Yeah. What else is going on?
Yeah, if you guys come to
Phuket, fucking, we're out here. Catch us at Babalup or anywhere. I was probably telling you about the Discord. I gotta get you in the Digital Bromads Discord.
Bromads?
It's called
Dope.
Digital Bromads.
Dope.
So that's where we're kind of hanging out and sharing. All right, bros, we gotta get on.
Peace.